Let the record reflect that we have reconvened with all members present. Please rise for a Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome all. We have no minutes for approval, so it's hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. We are winding down the year. There is one more meeting after tonight, so this is the last meeting of the year where any ordinances will be introduced. Also want to remind people that our reorganization meeting, the annual reorganization meeting, will be January 3rd at 7 p.m. right here. And it is with much regret that I have to share the news that Bob Landrigan has resigned from the council. His life has taken him to relocate in Brooklyn, and so he resigned as of after the last meeting. And we'll be talking a lot more about Bob on January 3rd to thank him for his service. But just a little reminder for those that don't know Bob. Besides his work here on the council, he was a member of the auxiliary police. He was a longtime member of the ambulance corps, leading it for many years, OEM coordinator, and of course 6 years as a council member. A lot of people may do those over many years. He did them all at the same time. One of the greatest volunteers you would ever know. So we will be back here on January 3rd to thank him for his work on behalf of everyone in Madison. And we will, with the fact that there's only one more meeting left, we will not be taking action to fill the vacancy. And of course, our tradition here in Madison, the day after Thanksgiving, is to welcome in the holiday season with the Christmas parade. And we welcome Santa Claus on a beautiful night, perfect November evening. The crowd was packed in downtown, as I could view from my float. I want to thank the Toto family for all their work year after year to make that such a success, and of course their work on the Santa Village across the street. And to recognizing their work, we had 3 generations of Totos lighting up the lighting up the Christmas tree this year. And I want to thank the Dean family of Hunter Drive for their donation of their tree. They are relatively new residents of Madison who probably didn't even know the tradition when there was a knock on the door asking if they'd want to donate their spruce. And now they proudly can say that their tree is the selfie spot in Madison. I saw a lot of people over the weekend taking pictures there. 2 weeks ago was the annual League of Municipalities conference. We had strong representation from Madison. I was down there, part of, besides taking many workshops, including one on downtown revitalization, which shows that we're on the right track. We led a workshop on Project Community Pride to share the excellent work that Project Pride has been doing in our community for over 40 years. And I want to thank our panel members, Chief Darren Datchison, Chatham Council President Vicki Fife, Florham Park School Superintendent Melissa Varley, Madison Area YMCA CEO Diane Mann, and Project Pride Director Lisa Sprague. And so hopefully we were able to share the story in such a way that it will be replicated elsewhere in the state. And that is it for my announcements for now. So before I come down below, I would like a motion for Resolution 300, 2017, Resolution of the Borough of Madison confirming membership of Michael J. Coyne in the Madison Hook and Ladder Company Number 1.
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Michael Coyne, please step forward along with your family. Chief, you could step forward.
We got one.
Repeat after me with your right hand. Raise your hand. I state your name.
I, Michael Coyne,
Solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
volunteer firefighter,
volunteer firefighter,
Madison Hook and Ladder Company Number 1,
Madison Hook and Ladder Company Number 1,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
I further solemnly swear
I further solemnly swear
I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
and will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations and thank you for volunteering. Congratulations.
Should have been doctor.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Did you notice that?
Okay, reports from committees. Public Works and Engineering. Ms. Vitale.
Thank you, Mayor. So the leaf collection is continuing, and our new Director of Public Works says it's going very well. The Roads Department has finished planting all the trees for the Shade Tree Management Board. That is all done. They helped with the parade as well, the preparation. So we want to say special thanks to DPW for working in conjunction with the police department for the added security. They did a really good job. The director, Ken O'Brien, was very proud of them, so I want to say a special thanks to them. Parks Department is also helping with the leaf pickup. The Sewer Department is doing their usual markouts for demolitions, PSE&G, and Water Department excavation. They're doing their usual sewer maintenance cleaning, and they are actually finished cleaning up North Street lift station with the contractor. That's been an ongoing project for a long time. Mechanical department has been working on police vehicles, fire trucks, snow blowers, street sweepers, and actually repaired a steering cylinder and leaking wheel hub on the fire engine number 1. So everybody is busy there, per usual. From Bob Vogel, Cifelli Construction has completed all of their work, and now we'll be passing a resolution today regarding that, but they've done a good job. The construction company has completed the construction contract for the MRC rebound wall, and a separate contract for perimeter and ball stop fence will be initiated as soon as possible. The general contractor, Joe Med, will attend a pre-construction meeting for the Central Avenue water main replacement in the next 2 weeks, and that's going to be a major project for us. There's been bid documents for the Summerhill Park Trails improvements will be finalized as a result of funding approval from the County of Morris. We have been given that grant. Thank you to Ostry Bailey for working very hard on that, and it's going to be a great enhancement at Summerhill. DPW will also commence foundation construction at the Memorial Park Rink to support the building that was down there, and it will now be a brand new building that will be nice and warm when the skating takes place. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. Finance and Borough Clerk, Ms. Bailey.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. From the Finance Department, the administration continues to work on the 2018 budget. The 5-year capital plan will be presented at the next council meeting on December 11th. And the hope is that the funding ordinances for road construction, as well as milling and overlay, will be introduced in early January. We did this last year. Our budget presentation material will be presented to the council in January and February. All residents are encouraged to attend and learn more about the budget and the process. And then from the tax assessor, residents are reminded that they do have the right to annually appeal their property assessment. This application is in the clerk's office, and a list of all property assessments is available in the assessor's office. Residents can also look up their assessment on the county website. That page is easily found using any search engine and typing in Morris County property tax records as the search criteria. Forms and instructions, as I said, are in the clerk's office. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Utilities, Mr. Wolkowitz.
Thank you, Mayor. The aforementioned Christmas tree was put up and decorated by our electric department, and as well they put up the wreaths that you see around town on post lights. A thank you to them for doing that. The crew was called out very early in the morning for an unfortunate house fire on Pomeroy Road to cut power. Sad case, but the guys were very good. I believe it was about 2:30 in the morning that this all happened. Sorry? 5? Oh, I had bad information. At any rate, it was still early.
It was very early.
Kings Road project, the installation of post lights continues. That's between Prospect and Maple. Once finished, I think it will be a very pretty addition to town. And finally, meters are continuing to be installed at the KRE, the Green Village Road project. As for the water department, they're working very closely now with Sanitary, PSE&G's contractor, installing a new gas main on Main Street to keep service interruptions to a minimum. Exclamation point, not mine, but obviously we'd like to not have any more problems. The hydrant flushing program for 2017 through 18 continues. It's about 90% complete. I'll repeat myself one more time on this for the 10% remaining. You may find at some point that your water is cloudy, pressure isn't what it should be, etc. If you, before calling the water department, take a look out the window and see if the water department's on your block. Because when they flush these hydrants, that could happen. Finally, next to finally, Atlantic Switch and Generator, the maintenance contract that services our emergency generators, is working on quotes to repair or replace the generator set at the Be Well pumping station. FYI, the original equipment was put in 1978, so we certainly got our value out of those generators. And then finally, 10-meter installations were installed. This is the continuing installation of radio transmitters for remote water metering reading on work orders for outside registers, meter replacements, and new construction meter installations. This project will be ongoing for quite some time. But as you've heard before, the net result of this will be a much more efficient way of controlling and counting use of this important utility. Actually, both of them. Thank you.
Thank you. Health, Mr. Rowe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have a formal report, but I do want to note that last Tuesday at the Health Department meeting, we had the second hearing on the bamboo ordinance, and it did pass as I had presented it to you probably a couple months ago. I'll work with Ray and Mike Fitzpatrick to make sure that we get some sort of FAQ posted. Initial enforcement will take place in 180 days, so people have a notice period. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. You can thank the board for the work on that.
Yeah, they appreciate the referral.
And for community affairs and public safety, Ms. Byrne.
Okay, I have no report for public safety, but as far as community affairs, this past weekend, I'm sure all of you were at the Christmas parade, which was a great success, and we want to thank the Christmas committee for putting it on. Those wreaths and the decorations on the lights are truly a community affair. The lamps were wrapped with the white lights by the Downtown Development Commission, The wreaths were placed up by the Department of Public Works, and the red bows that are on top of those wreaths were affixed by the Boy Scouts. So it was truly a community effort to brighten up downtown. Right now, the Madison Chamber of Commerce is trying to encourage people to come downtown and shop, and they're doing it with a promotion called Rosie, the Rose City Reindeer. And Rosie is about this high in a red and white striped sweater. She's rather cute. I wish I had one to show you. And she's hiding in about 30 stores. You can go to one of the participating stores and pick up a card and then go look for Rosie. And every time you find her, go to the front desk, tell them where you found her. They will sign off on your card. When you have 7 sightings, you take your card to Tons of Toys or the Madison Pharmacy, and you will receive a toy. With 15 sightings, you get a ticket, a golden ticket, like Charlie and the Chocolate Wonka Factory. For a grand prize drawing, the first place is a $100 Madison Chamber gift check. Second and third place are each $50 Madison Chamber gift check, and you can watch the live feed of the grand prize drawing on the I Love Madison, New Jersey Facebook page on Monday, December 18th at 4 p.m. So I'm sure you are all putting that in your date books, so you will be on Facebook at 4 o'clock to see who the lucky winner is. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. We may have to adjourn right now so we can go look for Rosie.
Look for Rosie.
Yes. But first, we'll do communications and petitions.
None received, Mayor.
Okay, now we're on to the first of 2 invitations for public discussion. This one is limited to items on the agenda, so you may comment on the cancellation of capital ordinances, or you may comment on any of the resolutions that are on the consent agenda. If you want to comment during this section, you're going to please come up, state your name, your address, and the agenda item you are speaking on, and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, but I will give you a grace period and let you go to 4 if you exceed the 3 minutes. If you want to comment on other things, we'll have that comment period coming up shortly. So this is, again, limited to things on the agenda. Anyone wishing to comment on items on the agenda? Good.
Let me just introduce myself. I'm Ron Hendrickson. I live on Green Avenue. So I have 3 things, but I think my third one falls to the latter category. So the first one has to do with the sanitary sewer improvements. And so I guess the question that I have is the capacity of the sewer system and...
Actually, sorry, with the ordinances will have hearings, so it's just resolutions or the ordinance on the sanitary sewer, that will have a hearing shortly.
So I have to wait for that one?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. And what about paving? Does that have to wait too?
The resolution, it's, which...
Cifelli's
you know what?
the Cifelli, yeah, you can comment on the Cifelli.
I'll just be safe and hold it to the end.
Okay. Anyone wishing to comment on resolutions or the cancellation of capital improvement? Okay, seeing none, we now move on to agenda discussion. Cancellation of capital ordinances. Our CFO, Jim Burnett.
Thank you, Mayor. Every year we go through this administrative process of reviewing all the ordinances, determining which have been completed, what projects have been completed and finished, and therefore able to take that money, cancel the ordinance, and recapture it back to the Capital Improvement Fund. It's important to do this for a number of reasons, one of which is to make sure that our audit is clean and to make sure that the audit doesn't have unnecessary open ordinances in it. Second is the recapture of that money allows for the use of council on future projects. Every year for the last few years, we have funded $3.8 million from the current fund to go into the capital improvement fund, and the council has used a pay-as-you-go method for the vast majority of the ordinances that have been passed over the last few years. Yet, in the 5-year capital plan that you'll see next month and the ones that you've seen in years past, we typically have an ask for about $4.2 to $4.4 million. You're like, wait a minute, you're only putting in $3.8 million. How can you spend $4.2 to $4.4? One is the cancellation of these ordinances. We estimate that it's $4.4 million, but very often our department heads do an excellent job and keep prices down and say, I don't need any more of this money. I was able to complete this project under budget, and the money gets reverted back in. And the second, as you know, would be large state grants for roads like major thoroughfares that we do, like Prospect and things like that. So it's an important ministerial process. A list was given to council. The vast majority of it was for Prospect. And as some of you have heard, Prospect came in at a very good price because it was during a time when the majority of the state was not bidding because the gas tax hadn't been passed and the funding for the road projects at a state level wasn't approved. But Madison, we were able to pre-fund this and put it out. So Prospect itself came in at a very low price. And so we're going to be recapturing about over $100,000 just from that project. We'll be coming back next month with round 2 of this. We do have some ordinance cleanups. To actually clean up the audit, there's some ordinances that are older that are on the books that we want to recapture the funds on as well. So this will be round 1, and we'll do round 2 at the next council meeting, if that's okay. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Questions for Jim? Okay, so this is Resolution 304 listed on the consent agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ordinances for hearing. Will the clerk please read the statement?
The ordinance is scheduled for hearing were introduced by title and passed on the first reading of the regular meeting of the council held on Monday, November the 13th, 2017. All were posted and filed according to law, and copies were made available to the general public requesting same.
I call up ordinances for second reading and ask the clerk to read said ordinances by title.
Ordinance 45, 2017, ordinance of the Borough of Madison rescinding Chapter 134-9 of the Borough Code entitled Parking of Recreational Vehicles, permitting recreational vehicle parking at the Public Works Facility.
I open the hearing for Ordinance 45-2017. Anyone wishing to comment on that ordinance, please step forward. Seeing none, I close the hearing.
Mayor, I move Ordinance 45-2017.
I'll second that motion.
Any council discussion? Maureen?
Have we begun to see recreational vehicles moving out of DPW?
I'm sorry?
Have we begun to see recreational?
No, because it'll be noticing, and so it won't happen until...
March 31st, they have until...
March
31st, 2018, they have to remove the vehicle.
And how many vehicles are we talking about?
10,
Thank you.
6 of which have not moved in the last 5 years.
Yep.
Okay. They may not move this year either.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Yes.
I declare Ordinance 45-2017 adopted and finally passed, and ask the clerk to publish notice thereof in the newspaper and file the ordinance in accordance with the law. Ordinance 46-2017.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $100,000 from the General Capital Improvement Fund for the 2017 Sanitary Sewer Improvement Program.
I open the hearing. Ron, this is your cue if you want to comment on or ask questions on the sewer. Yeah, we'll just related to the sewer.
So sewer capacity is a really important concern. And so as we look at development across Madison, could you help us taxpayers feel comforted that people are looking very carefully at the capacity of the sewer, and that development is being designed in such a way that the capacity of the sewer is being taken into consideration, and that the hookup fees are nice. You see $1 million price tag or something, but that's a one-time item. And so, sewer happens multiple years over a long period of time. And so we'd like to know, who's the person who's paying attention to this? Is it a member of the council or is it an outside consultant? So I guess that's the general question.
Any other questions before?
So I had 3. Should I ask them all now?
Yep, and then...
Okay, good.
Yep.
So the other question I had was, this summer, PSE&G came through our town and did a
Is this related to sewer?
No, it's not.
Okay. Sorry.
Got it.
So there's very tight rules with hearings. Sorry, Ron. We'll get you back up here shortly. I misunderstood your... There are really 2 parts of our sewer system. One is the collection system, which fully is the responsibility of the Borough of Madison, which this one is related to here. And the other is the treatment, which is a joint meeting with the Borough of Chatham. There is a joint meeting committee, so to speak, which is all the elected officials in both communities meet on a monthly basis, and we have been looking very much at the capacity, not only the capacity for potential future development, but just to handle of, as you can imagine, this sewer treatment plant is 100 years old. The last truly major expansion and investment was nearly 35 years ago, I believe. There's been some smaller ones since then. So the joint meeting will be coming out with projects that need to be done, whether either town has growth or either town stands still, because we need to reinvest. So there will be some of that will be coming out in the new year, but both towns have been looking at it very closely. Anyone else wishing to be heard on this ordinance?
You didn't answer the question.
I think I did. So, no,
Go back and forth.
Yep.
There's no back and forth, but you didn't answer the question.
Ron, you're finished. You made your comments. I answered the question. I'll spend some time afterwards if you need to, but right now the question's been answered. Anyone else wishing to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, I close the hearing.
Mayor, I'll move ordinance 46-2017.
Second.
Any council discussion?
I do want to say that we are on top of capacity from the standpoint of the planning board and the joint meeting. We have had a study by both towns, and so I just want that to be out in the public. Thank you.
Thank you. So to clarify again, not only elected officials of both towns, these respective planning boards and the professionals that are hired at the joint meeting and the engineers that are also working with the joint meeting. Maureen?
And the proposals that we're discussing in the joint meeting would not only increase capacity, but it would create less phosphorus, which is currently being put into the Passaic River right now, and DEP is very concerned about phosphorus. So the renovations of the treatment plant do 2 things. They are designed to meet the capacity as the build-outs that have been done by the planners of the 2 townships, which is what Austria was referring to, and also to do a better job of treating the sewage.
Thank you for sharing that. Pat?
I was also going to say, the 2 years I served with Bob Vogel on the Public Works and Engineering, he also is responsible for the transportation network. And 2 of the biggest projects, I believe, were GVR, which we did have to add some short distance transportation capacity fixes. And also we have some plans for the additional capacity that could be coming out of Geraldo Farms, something that was thought of years ago. So I think they do keep an eye on the transportation network on a regular basis.
Thank you. Any other Carmelo?
I think one of the main things that happens here is that we're very conscious of what our sewer lines and water lines look like. So we're doing slip lining. We're making sure that when we do road construction, we're looking at the sewer lines as well. And that helps with what we're considering a flow that goes down into that treatment plant. You should take a ride down there. Chris loves to give a little tour. Just don't go in August, I'll tell you that right now. But, it's quite fascinating. It's a very intricate thing that we do. But to think that in 1915, two towns got together and put sewers in. We don't know what cesspools are. We don't know what septic tanks are. So it's quite a feat to keep it going properly.
Ben.
Yes, I think as an overriding consideration, since I'm always reporting on utilities, this is the one utility that cannot afford to fail. Right? It's that simple. And so the two towns go to meetings, as was indicated, monthly, and do everything possible to ensure that never happens on our watch. And that includes overcapacity. So obviously looking at capacity is a very important thing, and we're right now engaged, as people have said, in a significant project to consider how best to address future needs for that plant. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
I declare Ordinance 46-2017 adopted and finally passed, and ask the clerk to publish notice thereof in the newspaper and file the ordinance in accordance with the law. Ordinance 47-2017.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $320,000 from the General Capital Improvement Fund for the Elmer Street storm sewer improvements.
I open hearing for Ordinance 47. Anyone wishing to comment, please step forward. Seeing none, I close the hearing.
Mayor, I'll move Ordinance 47-2017. Oh, no, we have to have, did I do that wrong?
Nope, you're good. Yep.
Ordinance 47-2017.
Second.
Any council discussion? Roll call vote.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
I declare Ordinance 47-2017 adopted and finally passed, and ask the clerk to publish notice thereof in the newspaper and file the ordinance in accordance with the law. Ordinance 48-2017, we had a error due to publication, and so that hearing will occur on December 11th. And now we're on to the second of discussion periods. This is when you may comment on any topic. And again, I'll give you a warning at 3 minutes and stop you at 4. And make sure you state your name and your address as you come up here. Anyone wishing to comment, please step forward. Welcome, Jesse.
Okay, a couple quick comments. Jesse Esposito, Community Place in Madison. Just a couple comments I want to make. Thank you both and all for getting rid of the dumpster that was there and overfilled with capacity. Although another one was moved in, and again, it's already full to capacity and over. One of the things I'm growing very concerned about with this house at 20 Cook is the fact that the gate is broken, which is a godsend because I don't listen to this all night long. But car doors through the night, all night long, of stopping by that house, slamming their car doors, going inside, coming back out, slamming their car doors, various hours, tells me, with prior knowledge of law enforcement, that something more problematic is hanging out in that situation. I think the owner is so far breaking every possible law in renting on rental income property that is possible. I just think it's just too much out of control with the college kids. Although the 5 that live there are respectful, it's the ones that visit them that aren't so respectful. I was talking with the neighbor at 22 Cook. Her first name is Yvonne. We were talking, and she said they actually pull into her driveway in the middle of the night, and she was supposed to meet me here today, but she couldn't make it. So it is a growing concern with the hours that are involved, with the noise level that's involved, with the crowd of people throughout the weekend. And I know there's drinking, and I know there's other things going on in there. And I just think Madison Borough needs to take a closer look at this situation. The house should have been condemned. I went inside. It is so filthy, dirty. I can't even express to you how horrible it is. So, with that note, I want to thank you again for getting rid of the other situation, but make you aware of the current trash situation and the problems with the frat house, we call it. So thank you all. Thank you for listening. And that's it.
Thank you, Jesse. So we will pass that on, and as with anything, if you see something, say something. So as it happens, feel free to call. And so.
I'm going to set up
Okay.
an appointment with the detectives.
Ron, welcome back.
Thanks. So two things.
Sorry, you have to state your name and.
Ron Hendrickson, Green Avenue. Do you want me to sign in again?
Nope.
So two things. One's kind of easy. One's a little bit more involved. The first one is the Rodin sculpture that used to be here. I was just wondering, Mayor, what the long-term plan is, and if it's going to be returned to Madison. And there was some discussion this summer as to who would pay the insurance for that, whether it would be the Hartley Dodge Memorial Foundation or if it would be the town of Madison. So maybe if you could just comment on what your vision is for that in the future, that'd be great.
Yep.
And then the other one is, I just wanted to comment that it was really nice to see PSE&G come through our town this summer to do a 100-year project, replacing the gas lines that are under the street. So you just comment on the sewers being a 100-year project. It's a 100-year project. And what they did is they took pipes that were this big and they threaded plastic pipes a little bit narrow through the inside so they didn't have to dig them up. And they pressurized it so that they could make sure that there's enough gas there for individuals. So that was great. Wonderful people that came through and did it very efficiently with little disruption. So my question really is a two-part question. One is that the temporary repairs that have been done, have those been converted to permanent repairs? Right, that's really important. Are those now permanent repairs? And if not, then what's the plan exactly to fix things in 2018, the streets? Restore the streets to their original conditions, because they're clearly not at their original conditions. We can talk about that if you like. And the other thing I wanted to ask, just to make sure that people were thinking about really carefully, is when those original pipes were put down 100 years ago, those were to heat homes, right? Heat homes. And but today, past Hurricane Sandy and these superstorms that are coming through, many people have installed these point-of-delivery generators on their homes. And many homes have them. So it's not just one or two or three or four, but many have them. And so the question comes up is, as they put this new 100-year project in place, did they put it in place so the capacity has capacity of then or today, or to support all of the generators that people have, right? Because, if you look around, maybe 30%, depending on your neighborhood, there's 10 or 20 or 30 or 50% of people who have generators, but those all go on at the same time. When the storm happens, they go on, and the question comes, did the engineers think about how did they design that? And did they design that so that it's ready for that point of demand, that load that happens during the storm? And if they did, awesome, that's really good. And then as you think forward, what's going to happen when more people want to put those on? Is the borough going to say no? Just no, you can't connect your natural gas to...
1 minute, Ron.
Yeah, this is important. Can you connect your natural gas generator to the lines, because everyone in the neighborhood now has that, and there's insufficient capacity to support all of those in the area. So just wondering how that was thought through.
Thank you. So Rodin sculpture, as many people are aware, that the sculpture does not belong to the Borough of Madison, but to the trustees who were the foundation was created by Geraldine Dodge to support this building, created the trustees. And then a few years later, after the building opened up, she donated the artwork that is still on the walls in this room, including the Rodin sculpture, to the trustees to be enjoyed by the residents of Madison. So the plan is to bring Napoleon back to Madison. We'll be working with the trustees on that, and obviously, like any great piece of art, needs to be insured, and the insurance company will be very interested on making sure that it's protected. And since the artwork belongs to the trustees, they will be the ones responsible for insuring the artwork. So again, we look forward to the Napoleon bust coming back again, but for now you can go to Philadelphia to the Museum of Art and celebrate the 100th anniversary of Rodin's death and see our sculpture there. I saw a picture of it as they were setting it up. Number two, when utility companies come through, and PSE&G really is the only non-Madison utility that comes through, there is a two-step process with the repair of the roads. One, they do a kind of a temporary patch and let things settle, and they are responsible for coming back within the year, I believe, to then do the permanent patch. And so they'll do a second cut and do pretty much a match-up with the roads, especially roads that are very new, as they, Route 124 is fairly recently paved, and they need to match that up with, and the state will hold them to that. And any roads they did in Madison, we will hold them to bringing it back up to the standard of the pavement on that road. As far as the design and all that, that really is on PSE&G, but anyone that adds a generator has to go through several steps, and that includes getting permits from the Borough of Madison and also getting permission from PSE&G. I know that prior to some of the high-pressure lines being added into some neighborhoods, people were told they cannot add a generator because the capacity was not there. So that is on PSE&G to make sure that the infrastructure they put in, and hopefully, like we do in Madison, we don't put in new infrastructure for tomorrow, we do it for many tomorrows, and hopefully PSE&G is doing the same thing. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Seeing none, we close this part of the meeting, and we move on to introduction of ordinances. Will the clerk please read the statement?
The ordinance is scheduled for first reading, have a hearing date set for Monday, December 11th, 2017, will be published in the Madison Eagle, hopefully, posted on the bulletin board, and made available to members of the public requesting copies.
I call up ordinance 49-2017 for first reading and ask the clerk to read said ordinance by title.
Ordinance 49, 2017, ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $42,000 from the General Capital Improvement Fund to purchase one pickup truck.
Mayor, I'll move ordinance 49-2017.
I second that motion.
Council discussion? Ben and then Maureen.
I think it might be useful for someone to explain why we need this and what it will be used for.
Ray.
Yes, this would be a vehicle for the new Director of Public Works, Ken O'Brien, and he had made this request during his interview process. In his other towns, he actually is a working superintendent. Our retired superintendent had a different type of vehicle, had an SUV, but it wasn't equipped for snow plowing and heavy duty. So this vehicle will have those capacities and capabilities, and Mr. O'Brien will use it. So when the crews are out plowing, he's going to be out with them plowing, salting, and supervising the crews. So he's a little more hands-on, and we want to support that. And we think it's a good use of taxpayer dollars to get a better result.
And his current vehicle will be repurposed for?
Yes, his current vehicle was the prior superintendent's SUV, which doesn't have the capacity for plows or hydraulics or brining or salting. So he wants a working vehicle that can carry tools, and if he sees a problem, he stops and fixes it. So it's a good habit of mine to have.
Yep. Maureen?
Thank you.
And that's what I was going to say.
Okay. Yep. Thank you. Anything else? Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Call up ordinance 50-2017.
Ordinance amending Chapter 34 of the Code of the Borough of Madison entitled Police Department, establishing promotional procedures for review of the rank of candidates.
Okay, this has been revised from what was originally posted. The new version was posted, but I will have the attorney.
Section 1, this is to fix the typographical error. What it's going to read under Section 1, Article 34-2, appointment. It'll be revised to revise the record review section of the process of the promotion to the position of police chief, captain, lieutenant, and sergeant, provide that any points assessed under the, quote, disciplinary actions, end quote, section shall be deducted from the candidate's score, period. The remainder of that section will not be included in the published ordinance.
Thank you. Can I have a motion?
I move Ordinance 50-2017.
Second.
Any council discussion? Roll call vote.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda resolutions. Will the clerk please read the statement?
Consent agenda resolutions will be enacted with a single motion. Any resolution requiring expenditure is supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any resolution requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All resolutions will be reflected in full in the minutes.
Mayor, I move consent agenda resolutions R 301-2017 to Resolution 308-2017.
Second.
Any discussion or any that need to be pulled? Roll call vote.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
There is no unfinished business. Approval of vouchers.
Current fund, $6,666,333.86. The general capital fund, I'm in trouble with contact, I can't read the numbers here, maybe,
I will.
isn't if I have,
You have to be the mayor.
isn't
I think we need a new font. Okay. Sorry. Current fund, $6,666,333.95. General capital fund, $835,918.95. Electric operating fund, $704,448.70. Water operating fund, $2,751.19. Trusts, $13,824.92 for a total of $8,223,277.71. Teamwork.
Mayor, I move approval of the vouchers.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
There is no new business.
I move we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
So is your guy
Yep, yep. When I have my contacts in, I need to have glasses.
That's all right. That's what it should be about.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.